What are the requirements for a work visa in South Africa? Employees applying for a work permit or visa in South Africa must provide a range of documents that are outlined by the Department of Home Affairs or our visa webpage, samigration.com. This includes documentation the employer should supply. Here's a summary of the key documentation required. General work visa. The general requirements for a general work visa include a completed application form, a valid passport, payment of the prescribed fee, a vaccination certificate, proof of financial means to cover expected living expenses in the country until the applicant receives a salary, medical reports, a police clearance certificate from each country in which you resided for 12 months or longer since the age of 18 years for past 5 years, a written undertaking by the employer accepting responsibility for the costs related to the deportation of the applicant and their dependent family members, should it become necessary. An application for a general work visa should be accompanied by points-based system requiring 100 points to qualify, proof of qualifications evaluated by SACA and translated by a sworn translator into one of the official languages of South Africa. Relevant requirements for employers include a contract of employment signed by both the employer and employee, full particulars of the employer, including proof of registration with the Registrar of Companies, an undertaking by the employer to inform the Director General upon the employee no longer being employed by such employer or when employed in a different capacity or role. All require documentation for a spouse and/or children if they intend to accompany the applicant. Critical skills work visa. The general requirements for a critical skills work visa include points-based system requiring 100 points to qualify, a completed application form, a valid passport, payment of the prescribed fee, a vaccination certificate, proof of financial means to cover projected living expenses until the applicant receives a salary, a cash deposit equivalent to the value of a return to the applicant's home country or an agreement to cover the cost from the employer, medical reports, a police clearance certificate from each country in which the applicant resided for 12 months or longer since the age of 18 years for last 5 years, proof of application for a certificate of registration with the accredited professional body, council or board recognized by the South African Qualifications Authority. Proof of evaluation of the foreign qualifications by SACA translated by a sworn translator into one of South Africa's official languages. Requirements for employers include proof of employment within 12 months after obtaining a critical skills work visa in the form of an employment contract specifying the occupation and capacity in which the foreigner shall be employed. Intracompany transfer work visa. The general requirements for intracompany transfer work visa include a completed application form, a valid passport, payment of the prescribed fee, a vaccination certificate, proof of financial means to cover expected living expenses in South Africa until the employee receives a salary, a cash deposit of equivalent value to a return ticket to the applicant's home country, an employment contract with the company abroad, a letter from the employer company abroad confirming that the employee will be transferred to a branch affiliate company in South Africa, a letter from the South African company where the employee will work, confirming the transfer from the parent affiliated company abroad. This letter should specify the occupation and capacity in which the employee will be employed and verify that the maximum duration of employment will not exceed 4 years. Medical and radiology reports. A police clearance certificate from each country where the applicant resided for 12 months or longer since 18 years. All require documentation for a spouse and/or children if they intend to accompany the applicant. Noteworthy requirements for employers include an agreement that the applicant will leave South Africa once the 4-year period comes to an end, confirmation that the applicant's passport is valid, and that the applicant will be employed in the position for which the permit is issued. The visa sponsorship process in South Africa. Employers must support their employees throughout the visa application process to ensure the smooth and legal onboarding of foreign workers. This support includes providing the employee with detailed job descriptions, employment contracts, and letters of confirmation. The employer also has certain responsibilities throughout the application process. These responsibilities include confirming the validity of the applicant's documents, ensuring that the employee leaves the country on the expiration of their visa, providing proof of efforts to hire locally, and paying a cash deposit or guarantee for the foreign workers in the case of a corporate visa. Check out our table above for the exact details on what would be required of you as an employer during the visa sponsorship process, depending on the specific work visa at stake.